Hello, everybody, and welcome, our esteemed viewers, property enthusiasts, real estate connoisseurs, homeowners, and architecture and design lovers. Welcome to another episode of our video podcast. Now, have you ever tried selling a used car? You give it a good wash, you polish it, fix any dings, and ensure it purrs like a kitten, right? That's because you want to get the best price possible. Well, our homes aren't that much different. When it comes time to sell, we must give our properties a similar shine and tune-up. But instead of a car wash and an oil change, we're talking about renovations, remodels, and all things home improvement. In today's episode, we shall explore the nuanced complexities of the seemingly simple question, how does one add value to their home before selling it? Indeed, it's a query that sparked many a debate among homeowners and real estate professionals alike. Here we go. It's week 4 of May 2023. We are Fox Marin Associates, Toronto's most innovative and active brokerage in central downtown Toronto. We aren't here to regurgitate boring stats. You can find those anywhere. We are here to share what we see going on in the Toronto real estate market in real time on a weekly basis so you can be in the know and make informed decisions. If you're interested in getting an up-to-the-moment opinion on what's happening in Toronto real estate right now and learning about what's going down, boots on the ground, before it becomes a stat, then you're in the right place. My name's Ian Busher. I'm a broker with the FM team. Keep your number handy. This is Kori Marin, in-house hype girl, resident expert, listing broker, and a good man to know, Mr. Ralph Fox, our analytical, investor-driven macro picture watcher. We do this every week. Hit the subscribe button and join us for the latest update every 7 days. All right, let's get into it. Today, we shall delve into the maze of property value enhancement, sharing industry secrets and dissecting some clients' smart and not so smart paths towards profitable property selling. So whether you're a seasoned homeowner planning to sell, an aspiring house flipper, or simply someone who appreciates the delicate blend of architecture and economics, we invite you to stay with us on this enlightening journey. Let's start by discussing how much you should spend on pre-sale upgrades, repairs, or renovations before going to market. Let's start here. Is there a fixed amount that universally applies in downtown Toronto for the highest return on investment? Ralph, I'm coming your way. What do you think about this one?
I think a lot of things. But at a high level, just to kick us off here, I think there's two real important things to keep in mind when you structure your thoughts prior to considering upgrading your home, going to market. The first one would be getting an understanding of the current market value of your home. And you would do this, as real estate professionals do, by looking at past comparable sales within a reasonable time period, ideally a couple months maximum, of similar type properties. And then you do plus or minus based on the condition of your property and the pros and cons to it relative to the other recent sales. And once you've established that range of value, because it's always more of a range, you then need to start to look at, okay, well, incrementally, how can we increase the potential value or sale price of our home by doing upgrades. Now, the key thing to keep in mind is that not all upgrades are equal. And oftentimes we have seen potential sellers prior to going to market do things that don't get a very strong return of investment, ROI, or sometimes even we see them do things that are outright stupid. And they end up losing value or actually losing money on the money that they've invested in the home, hoping for a return. It's not a one size fits all. And every house in every market and every location is different from one another. But I think it's really important just to understand the value, the current value of your home, and what you're trying to achieve by doing upgrades. And by doing those upgrades, what the return on investment or the ROI could be. And you have to sort of put on a bit of a business hat. And I think it's very difficult, no matter how sophisticated, for a seller to do this on their own. And it's really important to have somebody or some buddies who understand market and market complexities, who can advise them on the best return on their investment when getting their property to market. And that's why before you really start considering doing anything, you should really be talking to your real estate agent, your trusted real estate advisor, for them to give you feedback on how you can maximize the ROI on your property.
Yeah, 100%. So I definitely think that sellers shouldn't over improve their property before going to market, because I think that that's what a lot of sellers think they need to do. So over improving. And then I think a lot of sellers don't understand the nuance necessarily that some less expensive upgrades and some minor fixes can have a huge cost benefit. And so we'll get into this when we talk about what we feel are some of the big areas to get that return on investment when we start breaking that down later in the episode. But there are some quick, cheap and dirty tricks out there that are exceptional in terms of showcasing your home at its highest and best without having to dig out a basement or put in a new kitchen or, rehaul an entire washroom. So we are very, very strategic when it comes to our sellers in this very specific area of preparing the home for sale. And I think most of the time we're talking sellers out of over upgrading versus talking them into it. So I just wanted to add those couple points in terms of ROI. Ina, do you have anything you wanted to add about ROI at all?
What I see sometimes is people trying too hard to find their specific buyer and do something so targeted and so specific that they think everybody's going to love if I install this crazy tech system like alarm and this and that. I'm going to put a hot tub in the backyard. Everybody loves it. Not everybody loves a hot tub. Not everybody loves the latest style of tile. I would say go neutral. And the reason being is really what you're trying to do is do something that will appeal to the largest demographic possible rather than targeting one particular buyer. So that should help you keep prices down because you're not going crazy with your guessing. I think the other thing to consider too is, how will those upgrades impact the things that we need for marketing, the video, the photos? So how well will those elements showcase once we have our professionals in there doing the things that we need? So it might be a crazy, crazy, brilliant tile to you, but when you open that photograph, does it look like you're on some sort of crazy trip, right? So I think keeping that in mind as well is an important thing to do.
Yeah, the marketing collateral and how things photograph, knowing that everyone's searching digitally. Like, for example, red does not photograph well as like a wall color, or if it's a pattern in a carpet or red pillows, they just don't pick up well. So that's like a good example of not selecting something that might not translate well over to your marketing collateral or to your digital pieces. So I definitely 100% think sellers and their agent should be considering how it's packaged and how it's going to look from a marketing lens 100%.
Yeah. And going back to Ralph's earlier point, I can't say it enough. Don't do all the things you want to do and then contact your real estate professional. Get them involved in the process from the get-go. Help them help you save money and make better choices, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Don't go it alone. Get other opinions. Yeah.
Yep. Ralph, anything else on this ROI?
The one thing I want to build on with both of what you guys have touched upon is oftentimes we do when we get called, and we don't always get the call, but when we do get the call beforehand, we often have to hold our clients back. And I think it's almost like they've watched too many episodes of Homes on Homes, and they're like, love it or list it, probably a better example. And they're like, this is my moment. We can go in guns a-blazing. We can go in under high pressure. I can write a big check. This will be totally cool. I'm ready to go. I've been in this house for 5 years. I know exactly what I always wanted to do, but now I have a reason to do it and a time deadline. Let's go. And it's like, put your checkbook down, put your phone down, put your phone down.
Put your line of credit away.
Exactly. Yeah. Take a deep breath and let's really think this through. And that's often what we're there to be, that voice of reason. And so when we look at a property, we really are looking for a ratio. In my mind, it's always a minimum of 3-to-1. And as soon as I say that to one of our clients or a potential seller, it gives them context, because what I'm saying is for every dollar that you spend, we want to see a $3 return. Now, it's very difficult to classify that on a spreadsheet, but it's a very good way to articulate how we're trying to be strategic with the upgrades that we make, the money that we spend. And we're always trying, it's a less is more type of scenario. And so the less you spend and the harder the ROI we can get on what you spend, that's how you're going to win. And that's why you're working with somebody who's going to help guide you through that. It's a really good way to sort of understand what we're trying to achieve right off the bat.
Yeah. And I think a good way to think about this as a buyer or a seller is when you look at new construction, so a custom build, and the builder has gone to the nines on finishes and flooring and hardware selection, tiling, and then you see the price tag. Sometimes they don't necessarily mirror the street or the neighborhood, and you know that the builder is trying to recoup costs with the price tag on the home. And that's when you know that they've overspent on their build. And we all know that it's almost impossible to stay within budget when you're doing a renovation, let alone a custom built house. But when there's an overspend from the builder's lens, then you know you always see that translate to the list price. And those properties often sit for a very long time. And I'll look at them and I'm like, they look kind of pretty, but they look really expensive for the area. And you know exactly what's going on. So it's a similar analogy in terms of just understanding about being humble with what you do to your home before you go to market.
Absolutely. I think those ones you're speaking of, and I showed one of those today, Kori, where a builder has picked up a little tiny tear down of a bungalow and built a 5,000 square foot. Everything's embossed in gold and glittery. And it's the only one on the street yet to look like that. And they're asking for 2.5, and it's a little too much too soon. It's over-gentrified way too fast. And they want to pull their profit out of that. So,
totally.
And people are not biting.
And an even bigger problem is, and it happens at all price points, but, I was out with a client and a good friend of mine, and we were looking at the $3.5 to $4 million range. And we're like, wow, that's the house is really nice. And I know they spent a lot, but I'm going to have to spend $30,000 or $40,000 to rip out these countertops because they're way too masculine and heavy and dark. And I want something lighter and space to feel lighter. And so once you start spending a lot of money on finishes, you start to run the risk of actually being counterproductive and turning off your clientele.
Totally, 100%. Yeah. And Toronto buyers are not that posh that way, if that makes sense. Like that super luxe, slick look where the home has been stripped of its character and it's very glossy and a little selling sunset vibes going on isn't really the Toronto buyer.
Hey, don't knock selling sunset.
It's just not the Toronto buyer.
Realistic. It's so
realistic. Yeah, it's totally realistic. So
downtown Toronto.
But I think that the buyer in Toronto, it doesn't really speak to our marketplace very well. I think people really want heart and soul in their homes. And so when they are stripped and then all those glossy finishes go in and you see the gold trim and some chandeliers and it's just a little bit much music video kind of vibes. I don't feel like that speaks to the buyer pool. Yeah, bling. Blingy. That's the word I'm looking at. Bling is not our buyer here. So for any builders listening to this, we don't do bling here. We do subtle lux.
We don't do purple ceiling lights in coffered ceilings.
Yeah.
We just don't do that.
We don't.
I want a comfortable place. A comfortable place to watch TV with the family. Yeah. No LED, changeable LED lighting in the crown molding.
No.
Save that for your Lamborghini.
I've seen that a lot actually in those new builds. I'm like, God, this is terrible.
Becoming a trend or a scourge. I don't know, but it doesn't belong in the 416.
It does not belong.
I'd like to throw out one more thing here too before we move on.
Yeah,
which is the possibility that in speaking to your real estate professional, maybe it doesn't make any sense to do anything to your home at all. Can we briefly talk about the as-is condition? Where they're saying, you go to meet someone and they're like, I'm thinking about replacing the tile here in the front hall before we go to market. And it's like, the buyer for this home is going to tear it down. It would be, they're going to build a new house on this lot, or they're going to do such a massive renovation that you won't even recognize it. Let's save you money by not doing anything at all and basically put it out there because someone wants the lot. They don't want this shack. Sorry. But, that I think that needs to be said too. Sometimes no upgrade is really going to help your bottom line.
Totally. Like when it's a shell of a property like that. So I totally agree. So if it's a tear down, do nothing, sell as is,
Yes.
whereas.
Yes. Yeah.
And then if it's a home where you're going to preserve the home's character, so like an old Victorian with like beautiful moldings and high ceilings and maybe some like gorgeous, woodwork or something like that, or beautiful paneling that you might want to preserve. In those cases, I love when the property is presented, and this is how we would do it. Everything everything is decluttered, so there's no furniture. It's clean top to bottom, and then it's painted, a fresh white, and it's like a blank canvas, like a gallery of potential at that stage, and it photographs beautifully. It feels airy and big, and then this is where you can steal the buyer's hearts because they can see the potential when it's listed
canvas.
just like that.
Yeah.
So I love that. So I do agree totally. There's the sell it, just don't do anything. And then there's that sort of hybrid where you got to declutter it, clean it, fresh paint. That's it. Photograph beautifully. And then you're like potential in this property. And then there's the next stages after that. It's a really good point. Thanks for bringing that up, Ian.
Yeah, no problem. I think it needs to be said sometimes that it's like, the amount that this is going to take, you don't want to put into it, but somebody else will.
Yeah.
Let's clean it up and show it as a blank canvas.
Yes.
Right?
And often that will happen in homes where somebody's lived in it for 40 years or an estate sale. And so, one of the things that I found is if you have an older house where no work has really been done on it for 40 years, the foundations might be fine. Like structurally, it's probably in great shape. It probably has character. But if you then all of a sudden throw down some tile, it makes everything around it even seem older and more rundown.
True.
And it starts to really play tricks with your eyes. And so in those type of situations, it's far better to just sell the property as is and let the open market, determine its value, because there are many ways to value these type of properties.
So I have an idea for you guys, if you guys are open to it.
Yeah,
sure.
Bring it.
So we knew which topic we're going to talk about today, which is what improvements will you get the highest ROI on your home before you sell? What do those look like? And I thought that I'd reach out to our team, ask for a bunch of ideas, and then I thought I would bring back our random generator. So what the random generator is, I know you guys are excited, but I was like, this is the perfect time to bring back the random generator. And what I've done is I've tossed in everyone's ideas for different areas for home improvements or enhancements. And I thought I would select at random some of these ideas, and we can discuss them and break them down so that our listeners can get an idea of what we feel as experienced brokers in the downtown market feel are good investments or not. And I think because we have so many ideas to review, we should try to keep our thoughts tight on each of them. And then at the very end of this, I think each of us contribute what we feel would be like our top if you had a limited budget. How does that sound?
Sounds amazing.
Sounds awesome. And one thing I'd like to go on the record is saying, I friggin' love the random generator. And we've had so much feedbacks and private comment. Like the last time we did the random generator, my DM just blew up. So I'm totally ready to do it again. I know for those of you out there who are watching it, I can feel the excitement building for those of you who have been here before. And for those of you who haven't, you're in for a real special treat.
Well, it's here, Ralph.
Awesome.
The random generator. Look at all these topics.
Look at that.
Look
at that.
I know.
We need a top hat for the.
We do.
Yeah. A blingy top hat with the purple light around the. Yeah.
Yes. I love that. The theme of today. Okay. Let's get into these topics. Let's try to keep everything really tight. I just want our listeners to get a big overview of a lot of these ideas, and then we'll summarize everything at the end. So I'm going into the random generator. It's doing its thing.
Like making a nest. Making a little nest.
Okay, I'm going to toss this first one to Ralph.
All right.
Do you do a full kitchen renovation or just minor upgrades?
I wanted that one.
Do you want it in?
No,
You
I'm just kidding.
can
I always wanted to say that.
Perfect. Generally, less is more in most instances if you can avoid doing the renovation 100%. And either it's generally an as is or a small spruce upgrade. And that's where you get the best ROI. So kitchen hardware, maybe $500, $750, $1,000, something like that. Countertops can run you a few thousand depending upon the quality that you're getting without going too crazy. And backsplash, never too expensive. That's more labor than materials. So lots of great things that you can do to make your kitchen get a full makeover without really breaking the bank. And so that's always the route we choose to go. Spending $20,000 to $30,000 on a new kitchen is not the right way to go, generally speaking, in most instances, and it's better to just price that in with the sale of the home. But if you can make a 20-year-old kitchen feel like brand new, and you can do it with not a lot of time, money, or energy, then I say go with it.
You should consider painting your kitchen cabinets. And I just really love the idea. It works so well and it photographs so well. You paint the lowers like a dark color, like black or dark navy, and then you paint the uppers white, change the hardware, maybe change the countertop, but you don't even need to do that. And a little staging and styling in the kitchen goes a long way.
And a nice faucet can make a statement faucet in the right positioning, big time.
Yes. Ian?
I was just going to add that sometimes time is of the essence too. So replacing your kitchen can take a month. And some of these things that we're talking about can be done in a few days, right?
Yeah.
So if you're in a rush, do not replace the kitchen. It's another reason.
No.
Totally. Next in the generator, Ian, this one's for you. What about a basement renovation?
What kind of basement renovation are we talking about?
Or are you going to dig it out? What if it's like unfinished?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to dig it out? Are you going to finish it? What are you going to do down there?
No, I wouldn't do that. I think you're trying to take a big guess on what the next person's going to use it for.
Mm-hmm.
This one almost kind of falls into that thing that I was talking about where if you have an unfinished basement already, clean it up, paint it, paint the floor if it helps, paint the walls. If it's not really that inviting, just leave it for the next person's imagination. Call the unfinished basement an unfinished basement, but show it as well as you can.
100%.
Yeah, I think the only thing with basements really that I would be thinking about is if there's any potential issues. Because if there's ever a real concerning issue in a house, generally it's in the basement. So if there's any moisture issues or if there's like a little structural crack or something like that, really good to get a home inspection report done. And then, or even in some cases, an engineer report so that you know that everything's okay. Or sometimes if there are minimal cosmetic things that can be done at minimal expense, those can be quite wise as in terms of getting ahead of things without having to dig out a basement or ledge a basement or do anything crazy like that. You just don't want to go there because you ain't getting any return on that.
No, you are not. And it can be actually a benefit to the buyer if everything's exposed and their inspector can see everything and it doesn't look like anything's hidden. So a lot of buyers actually prefer an unfinished basement for that reason because everything's out there in the open for them and not covered up behind drywall.
Yeah, your buyer may not need that space. You didn't need that space because you didn't do anything with it, and your buyer may not need it either. So,
totally. All right, random generator. Ralph, I know you feel passionate about this topic, so I'm tossing this to you. Custom closets or built-in closets?
I think that's just a huge way to add value. Storage is a really big thing in Toronto, regardless of the size of the home. And the more storage, the better. There are different ways you can go about doing it. You can go the inexpensive route or the super expensive route, listing your property for sale. Definitely the inexpensive route would be the recommendation. And there's companies out there that do a pretty good job with pretty quick turnarounds. The more storage you have, the better off you're going to be, the more appeal you're going to have to a buyer. It's generally not that expensive, and it's a great way to add value and get a great ROI.
Yes. And if you're going to focus on one room of the house to do this, you start in the primary and then work outwards.
Yep.
And oh my gosh, if you are painting the whole house and not doing those closets, for the love of God, send your painter into the closet to clean that space up too. I can't tell you the number of homes I show where the bedroom looks great and you open that door and it's an old rusty rod and like a piece of wood from 1810 that has been, like just finish the job. If you can't do a custom built-in, at least clean it up, right?
Yes.
Yeah, get rid of that singed wallpaper from 1849.
Exactly. Yeah, and all the
Prior to
marks from all the
Confederation.
hangers that have been in there for the past 40 years. Yeah.
Well, we always do with our staging in closets when they're not finished in like with a built-in or a custom closet like California closets is we'll just put wooden hangers with like all white t-shirts hanging into the closet, and it just looks so lovely and fresh when the buyer opens the closet, and it can make a small closet actually kind of have a hotel kind of vibe. So that's a little secret for sellers out there as well. White t-shirts and wooden hangers. All right, random generator. Oh, okay, this is a good one. What about kitchen and bathroom hardware, Ian?
Well, I think Ralph kind of already touched on this one in the full kitchen reno. Yeah, absolutely. Hardware is plentiful, inexpensive.
Yes.
It is a very quick and easy way to contemporize an older cabinet or medicine cabinet or vanity. So yeah, absolutely. I think that's, with a coat of paint and some new hardware, something can look completely different and 100% better. So yes.
100%.
And I'd just like to make a little plug here. My sister Shane has a hardware company. So if you're looking for a little bit of a level up for kitchen and bathroom hardware, look up Shane Fox Hardware and just mention my name and tell her I told you to go to her website. I'm sure she'll give you some type of a discount.
You don't have a discount code ready to go, Ralph?
No, I wish I did.
Friends of Fox 23.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Shane Fox Hardware.
Her
FSH.
hardware is gorgeous.
Yeah, so check it out.
It's beautiful. I'm going to take this topic because I am passionate about this one. Stair runners. So the carpet stair runner up a wooden set of stairs in an old house, does that make a difference to your ROI when you're looking to sell? I think it's worth getting this quoted. So when you see, first of all, a ratty stair runner that needs to be replaced, I definitely think you should consider switching it out. And if there is no stair runner and your stairs look a little bit dilapidated, I definitely think it's worth getting quoted and considering this. They're not inexpensive. So I think this is really where the price point of the home is going to alter your decision and which path you should take with this. If the stair runner is too expensive, and they often are, and I do love a good stair runner, I think the other consideration is painting the stairs and do like something like a piano stair. So you've got a black stair cap and then a white riser, and doing something like that so that you're giving a little bit of elegance and polish to stairs, where you really do notice when stairs look like crap in a house. So you've got to do something, but you need to be mindful of budget. So those are my thoughts on
it
that.
can really give a nice luxury residential feel to a property. And if you've ever worn socks as a kid and sliding downstairs, you might appreciate the value of that as well from a safety perspective.
Yes. And you know where I feel like these make a big difference is in condo townhouses.
Yes.
Where the stairs always do not look like they're well done. And I feel like it can just finish. And there's a lot of stairs, obviously, in a condo townhouse because they're often stacked. So I feel like this makes a significant impact in that type of asset class. Ian, you're going to mention something.
I was just going to say one comment and one question for you both. The comment is actually that putting carpet down the stairs also changes the sound in the hallway. So footfalls are quieter, but also even just voice gets absorbed into that carpet too. So it can actually help make a home feel cozier because of the sound difference it makes.
All right. This is a huge one. I also feel passionate about this, so I might also take on this from the random generator.
Okay.
When you are considering selling your house for sale, decluttering and packing your crap, it doesn't really cost anything. And you do it because you're going to get the biggest ROI on doing this very thing. And this is the thing sellers do not like to do and feel the most overwhelmed by and have no idea where to start. But
And
sellers, please, this is where you should be spending the majority of your time, in your closets, in your basement, in your kitchen cabinets, and in your vanities, in your washroom. You get rid of every single thing you don't use, you donate, you get rid of, you sell it, you pack it up and you send it to storage and you declutter that house. I'm telling you right now, nothing is more distracting than looking at your stuff. And you're going to have to move anyways. So you might as well just get on it now. And I think this is something that sellers seem to forget. I'm like, you're going to have to do it eventually. So you might as well do it now. And so this is very, very hard for people who've been living in their homes for 30, 40, 50 years. Sometimes people own a lot of things that have value that are like kind of hard to get rid of, like a Persian rug, for example, or some like Royal Daltons that their parents gave them and some china. I understand that. And just get a storage locker and ship it over there if that's what you need to. But this is huge for your ROI.
100%. And I think for me, listening to you, the key words are people's stuff. People have so much stuff with their stuff that it's the last thing they want to do. The first thing they want to do is start breaking down walls.
Yes.
And they want to grab like a sledgehammer and they want to, call some contractors in and get some quotes and negotiate and get in there. The last thing anyone wants to do is deal with their stuff. And there is a pun intended with that because people have so much stuff surrounding their stuff. And so it's a real big issue. And it's usually what people are doing last minute because they just bought a place and now they're rushing to market and they're trying to get to market 2 weeks before the long weekend and they're having a complete freak out. So for people who are in that position, there are companies that you can hire who can help you with your stuff physically. And then there are other types of people who can help you with your other stuff, which is your stuff. But this is where I think the real stress comes is how people are going to handle their possessions and what they're going to do with them and where they're going to go. And, we can joke around, but it is very overwhelming thinking about, packing up all of your belongings and where's it going to go. And there's so much attachments and just going through it. And it's almost to some degree like going through your life. And it's a reminder of so many things. It can be very, very, very overwhelming. So it's the last thing everybody wants to deal with on that list for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And I will just add that if you're an A-type personality doer, this is where we, as your selling agent, love you. If you're like, great, got it. And 3 days later, you call us and the whole place is cleaned up and it's all in a pod in some storage facility somewhere.
Hallelujah.
You are a champion. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Client of the year.
Yeah. Over the course of the year, we probably work with 50 or 60 sellers. And we have at Fox Marin, and we do this internally at the end of the year, Best Client Award. And it's a very nuanced, structured award process.
Yes.
Based on many different profiles and events that occur during the process of selling a property. But I think one of the things that we have the most highest respect and awe for are the doers. And when we say doers, the real issue or the real heart of it is the people who are able to move things and move through things and move through their stuff quickly.
Yes.
Yep.
It's true. Bonus points if you can do that. We love our type A's. Yeah. Type A's all 100%. The way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a really good one. Do you, boys, upgrade your appliance package? And should your appliances be working before you sell your property? Ralph. That's why I gave it to you.
There's a delay on the video here, I think.
Ralph, do you want to tag me in?
Yeah, I don't know why. That question just annoys me.
Okay, Ian.
Should you replace your appliance package? Like basically take all of your appliances and get rid of them and get all new appliances? Case by case basis.
Okay.
Again, I'm going to go back to that. Like, are we having a bit of an as is? Is somebody likely to come along and redesign this kitchen and maybe tear a wall out? Is it going to be a waste of your money? How is it going to photograph? Can we find you a package, maybe gently used secondhand, switching them from almond or olive green to stainless steel, right? Like what's the budget here and what's the goal? So I'm going to say maybe on that.
Okay. I agree with
I would lean more into no, but maybe in certain cases, yes. Should they all be working? Absolutely. Unless it is one of those as is sales where the house is going to be torn down. It doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm so on the same page with you.
Or the buyer might be tearing that kitchen out and just trying to sell those appliances you put in there on Kijiji next week anyway.
Right.
Right.
Totally.
So yeah, case by case basis, but try not to. Obviously, that would be a big expenditure, all new appliances.
Yes.
I'm going to add on to Ian's maybe. with a really solid, it depends.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'm going to say it depends on the type of property. Sometimes if you're in a luxury property, there is inherent and implied value to say Miele appliances
Wolf,
or Wolf.
Viking.
Yeah, and in certain neighborhoods and areas, it's almost something that's expected. It really depends on the property and the area. But generally speaking, if everything's working and all the colors match and it's,
Not disgusting.
not disgusting and circa 2015, you should be good to go.
Mhm.
And if you do, for a whole bunch of reasons, need to replace them, and you're not selling a luxury property in Rosedale or a luxury condo in Yorkville, you could probably get away with an LG package from Appliance Canada, and I think you would do just fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
No one will be
We
offended.
do see people concerned about microwaves. A lot of people have non-working microwaves or a microwave that then turns out never worked in the first place. We bought as realtors the odd microwave in our careers, so that is something that does pop up as
Microwaves
well.
and hood fans.
Mhm.
Yes.
Those are
I'm
generally
also
them.
glad that you brought up matching, because sometimes somebody's been in a property for so long and they just replaced the dishwasher at some point. Like everything was, so you've got one white and one black and one stainless steel, right? So in a case like that, yes, let's go find you the remainder in stainless steel so that they all match.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
That's
Good
that's
answers.
key too.
See, you guys didn't want to answer the question, but you had such good responses.
Now we
All
can't
right.
shut up about it.
I know. Now you guys are like going on and on. We're like,
I'll call you after the show.
Yeah, let's talk appliances tonight.
Well, let's continue this
Yeah.
conversation. Please cut us
I'll meet
off.
you.
Oh
I'll
my
meet you at
gosh.
Appliance Canada. Yeah.
all right, this is a really good one.
When you call Appliance Canada, just mention Ralph Fox.
Yes. Use the
Ralph
discount
Fox.
code Ralph Fox.
Friends of Fox. Yeah.
All right, this is a good one. Upgrading your lighting and your lighting fixtures. I'm going to actually take this on.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
This
and
one's
yes.
very Kori.
No, it is very me. But like if you're going
I
to make
agree
a
with
big
you.
significant difference to how your property looks and feels and the atmosphere of your property, and if you want your property to feel a little bit more luxe and less cheap,
Mhm.
it's actually not that expensive to swap out your pot lights, for example. Make sure all the light bulbs match. Use a warmer light, not a cooler light. That's the first
Mhm.
place to start. You can effortlessly change out light fixtures and find some really good options, at Home Depot or Lowe's that are fashion forward, that are not offensive, not tacky. Like, so swap out your ugly dining room chandelier that's been hanging there for 25 years, please. And these particular fixtures often are really captured in the photography. And to circle back with what Ian said in our initial comments, we really want to think about how everything photographs. The light fixtures really significantly impact what your marketing photography looks like. So this is a 100% high on my list, and it's easy to do. We often bring in an electrician for our selling clients to help with this very thing. Change your light bulbs, make sure everything's working, and don't have like one of those, speaking of hood fans, under cabinetry lighting where some of the lights are out and you've never bothered replacing them, or you have one light bulb out in your bathroom mirror light. Make sure everything's working. It aesthetically just adds to the atmosphere of your home. So this is a huge one for me.
You can have these great statement pieces that are still, appeal to everybody and their tastes, but yet they can really impact the space and really highlight. If you have high ceilings, they can highlight the high ceilings. Or if you have like an older property, it can really kind of have a great juxtaposition with something a little newer or modern. So it's a great thing. And you can go to CB2 and blow your brains out for $350 and make a really nice statement in your living.
I think most people know just how easy it is to swap out a light too, right? So
Yes.
make the place look great for your photos, but the buyer is going to know that even if they don't like that chandelier, it's a quick change. So do it for you, for your pictures, and then let it go.
And be done.
I can't tell you how many properties we've sold where the buyer wants our staging light fixtures.
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, we send them to CB2.
That's a good point. That's how much impact they have.
For $350, Kori.
hard. You can spend so much more than $350 on a light fixture. That's why I'm laughing. Like you can go in,
Oh, yeah.
you go
Oh,
up
yeah.
to like Caledonia Road and start shopping around up there. And I'm like, this
Yeah.
light is so beautiful. I'm like, oh my God, the chandelier. I'm like, it's $10,000.
You know what we just got in the mail? The Restoration Hardware summer catalog.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
That's just torturous.
it is
Yeah.
torturous.
Yeah.
Stuff
Yep.
is so beautiful, but like you
Oh
look
my
at the
gosh.
price and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, and this is in US dollars as well. Oh.
Shoot me in the head.
Yeah.
They know how to market those people over there.
They do a very good job.
Yes, they
Mhm.
do. And talk about
Mhm.
good photography.
Oh,
They
yeah.
know what
Talk about in need of a promo code.
yes.
Yeah. Friends of
We're
Restoration.
members.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're members, but I don't know.
That doesn't really feel like it.
Help much. No.
Yeah. Okay, this is a good one. I'm going to toss this one to Ralph because I think we've talked about this in another episode. When you're getting your home ready for sale, does the smell matter and will you get an ROI on smell?
Oh my gosh, it's such a big thing. And it's one of the maxims that we have at Fox Marin is people buy an emotion and then they justify with logic afterwards. And when people walk into a space, it's all sensory and it really is the experience of being in a space that really creates the connection to a space. And one of the best ways and worst ways to create or break that connection with a huge distraction or even, on the other side, something that could be really uplifting is scent. And so we've had many situations where we've had to try and cover up smoking neighbors, try and stop people from being distracted by strong cooking odors when they walk into a house. And we've buried the odd bath bomb underneath a sofa in our day and things like incense. I mean, but then you can go too far the other way and all of a sudden your house smells like glade pine forest. And you've got a migraine at 4 seconds after walking into the property, which really defeats the purpose. And I think there are some agents who might learn from that, maybe calm down on the glade. But there are some really great ways to try and deal with it. But it's really important at best, or in most cases, to have a neutral smelling home. Although I personally have always been preferential to warm baked chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, yeah, you are. I
Who
like the
wouldn't
fresh
be?
linen smell. Fresh linen
Yes,
smell,
good too.
that's the smell.
Mhm.
Especially in the primary.
And also, this is where painting can come in handy because it can eliminate a lot of those like personal odors and give it that like new build smell, which is a neutral smell. So, huge sellers out there want ROI on smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those Glade air fresheners are like Axe body spray for your house.
Oh,
It's just awful. Just do
Just
not
say
do it.
no.
Just
Just
say
say
no.
no.
Don't do it.
okay. Next one from the random generator. Ian, this one's for you. Home staging and ROI.
Home staging and ROI. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Yes. Case by case basis, but I would say probably 80 to 90% of the time, it does make sense to do it. Yes.
Yes, totally.
And I
And
have a
we've
lot
talked
more to
about
say
this.
on that, but I don't want to get into it too deeply. So DM me later, viewers, if you want to find out more about my opinion about staging.
Yeah, we could talk
Because
about
we all
home
have one
staging
on
as
this team.
totally. We could talk about home staging as an entire episode. But yes,
Mhm.
sellers
Mhm.
out there, home staging, for those of you
Mhm.
who do not feel like it makes a difference to the return on the sale of your home, you are wrong. Dead wrong.
Unless, as discussed earlier, your home is a situation where you've lived in it for 30, 60 years, 100 years, and all of a sudden it's like an estate sale or if it's a tear down. But anything in between, there's either a full home staging or we do home styling, which is where you have a lot of great pieces or you aren't up for various reasons of doing a full stage. So we take what you have, and as Kathy, if you're listening, our stager likes to say, we zhuzh your property.
Mhm.
Nice flowers,
Mhm.
nice.
Yep.
I was going to say bidets, but I didn't mean bidets. Well, we could say nice,
Bookshelves.
like organized
Yes.
bookshelves and accoutrements,
Yeah.
and all kinds of things that really help take your property from nice to gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it really, really matters. We've seen studies where they say that it can increase the value of your property from 15 to 30%. And we've definitely seen it on the sales side of the business. And that's why we've built out an entire division dedicated to staging our properties because we feel it's that important. And we cover it all completely in our costs and services because it is that important. And we don't want to outsource it because we don't trust anybody.
And outsourcing is exceptionally expensive, by the way.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Like,
yeah.
Not that stagers don't deserve the fees because it's a huge investment to be a stager. And we could talk about this forever, but it is exceptionally expensive to use a third-party stager in the city. A good one. A shitty one from like 15 years ago, maybe not so much, but like a contemporary, really good stager, not inexpensive. Okay, random generator has just pulled out a different topic to move us along from house staging to fixing those minor repairs before you go to market for your return on investment. Ian.
Yes, of course. Why wouldn't you? Unless we're talking about tearing down a wall being a little repair, then yeah, get that plug that never worked, get an electrician in to look at that, the leaky faucet. Fix the screen, right? That the cat has been picking at and torn. I'm trying to think of like all those little things. Yeah, the knob that got torn off the cabinet in the bathroom, find a replacement. All of these little things, of course, because what it is to a potential buyer is distraction, right? They basically want to fall in love with your place and get emotional about it and not be like, which one was that? Oh yeah, that was the one that had the damaged door on the bathroom cabinet.
Yeah.
Right? That's not how you want to be remembered. You'd really like everything to be as flawless as possible. It's
Yeah,
all about
you want the buyer to have confidence in the property.
Exactly.
100%. The devil is in the details. And when a first-time buyer is walking through the property with their dad, and their dad is trying to tear the house apart, give them no reason to. Give them, it's low-lying fruit. Don't give anybody any reason to second-guess your property. And by having all of these little details looked after, it allows people to feel like the sellers or previous owners had taken amazing care of the property, and it gives them far more confidence to offer on it and hopefully pay a premium.
Yes.
Yep.
I just selected one from the random generator, but I decided it was kind of boring. So I've moved on to something a little bit more exciting. Okay, and Ralph, I'm going to toss this one to you.
Bring it.
These are your windows, your window treatments, and window cleaning.
Not important.
Really?
I'm just joking.
Oh.
Totally joking. These are all really important. I don't know. What do they say? Windows are the eyes to a home's soul or something like that. It's super important. Clean windows, number one. You need to be able to see outside. And again, the ability to show the property at its highest and best. So super important. And properties shoot best when the windows are open, or the blinds or the window treatments are open and you can actually see outside the window, unless you're looking into a building. But for most properties, it's really, really an important thing to do. And it allows for natural light to come in. It's such an important low cost thing that you can do with prepping your home. And then, like depending upon your situation, it can really be helpful to have window treatments that suit the style of your home. And there's nothing worse than seeing a beautiful property with 1970s slat
Venetians,
yellow greasy Venetians.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to be very thoughtful about how you handle your window treatments, and you definitely want your windows to be as clean as possible when going to market.
And you can always take the window treatments down and sell without window treatments. Like if you replacing them is exceptionally expensive, but take down the shitty curtain rod from IKEA and the drape that you bought there that you've moved from one university dorm to another, and just rip it all down and just sell it without window treatments if you just don't have the budget to replace with something a little bit more contemporary. We've done that many times and it's never been an issue, ever. All right, boys, I feel out of respect for our viewership, we have a lot more ideas from the random generator that I would love for us to get through. So I think we should move more to like a rapid fire just to protect everyone's time and investment into the podcast today. So I think I'm going to toss out a topic and to one of you, and you get actually, you know what we'll do? We'll do a thumbs up or a thumbs down on each topic from both of you. And then you can each give me one sentence on each of them. Ralph, particularly, because you tend to be the one that talks the longest.
That's why our editor loves me.
All right. So a thumbs up, thumbs down from the team, including me on these, that yes, you're going to make this investment, or no, don't bother. And then if it's like a maybe, we can do a maybe sign. All right. And then one sentence from each of us. All right. Okay. Are you ready? You're cleaning your eaves troughs before going to market. What is that, Ralph?
It's a sideways. It's a sideways
I
thumb.
thought this was medium.
You know what? Yes, if you can see them out the windows. That's my one sentence.
No, if it's January.
No, if it's January.
Okay. New flooring in your home.
Agreed.
We all gone maybes for those who are listening that can't read
it's
our hand signals.
Too specific, case-by-case basis.
It's amazing what you could do with a felt marker.
True.
And a little bit of filler with your flooring.
And some throw
a
rugs.
really large carpet.
Yeah. Area rugs.
Yeah.
Hand railings. Oh. Ralph? So
I know they always get flagged by home inspectors and dads. So just it's not an expensive fix, especially like in a basement. Who cares? Get those railings.
I think they're ugly.
It's a really simple thing to get a dad or home inspection off your back. For sure.
I think no. Redoing your entryway.
Yeah.
We're all maybes.
Depends. Yeah.
We're all maybes for those listening.
Your first impression when you walk in the door, super important. So there's different ways to approach it, but again, depends on the home and situation.
Yes.
Okay. Pre-list inspection. And then covering everything that pops up in the pre-list inspection. Yes.
Good. Double thumbs up and guns.
Yeah. This is huge. Listeners, this is huge. We've all given it a thumbs up.
Also, I just want to add that you don't necessarily need to fix everything you can fix in the inspection. It isn't necessarily a bad thing to just be like, yeah, that needs, somebody needs to do something with that.
Like the air conditioner is 17 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If the inspection's too clean, it's a little suspicious.
But if you can book a handyman in for half an hour or a morning and take 5 things off the list.
Yes.
Do it.
Yeah.
And viewers, if you know a good handyman for this type of thing, we're always looking for great handyman for this very topic.
Hard to come by.
Yeah. So please send us their names because we're always looking for great people.
Just slide into Ian Busher's DMs.
Yeah. Shoot me their contact details.
From you. Yeah. He'd love to hear from you.
All right. This is a good one. So this might be difficult to do a thumbs up, thumbs down when we're looking at structural things like cracks, masonry, foundation, leaks, dampness in the basement. Do you spend money correcting these things before you go to market? It depends.
Depends. Yeah.
It depends. This is a complicated one. Again, we could spend a whole episode talking about structural stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll leave that for another time. Viewers, and
I will say it's really important to understand what the issues are. And then once they've been outlined and you understand them, then you can figure out how best to address given the property market and situation.
Yes.
It may just be best to just disclose it.
Yeah.
Yep. It's always best to disclose.
Yeah.
Okay. Outdoor painting, staining, or just simply painting your front door. Does the curb appeal when it comes to paint and stain make a difference for sellers' ROI?
Mostly.
I'm going to say I'm a big front door painter guy.
Oh my God, me too. Huge.
Love it.
Stain depends on the time of year. And then it really just depends on the house, the price point, where it sits on the street and who the neighbors are and like how it's going to photograph. So I think it really depends. All right.
Yeah.
We're moving on. Rapid fire is our jam.
Time of year. Sometimes it's just not something you can do selling in February, right? So
All right. This one's an easy one. Rapid fire. Here we go. Deep cleaning. Spend the money, people. Spend the money.
Do it.
Yeah.
All right. Minor electrical work. Any thoughts?
No, not even a question. Yeah.
We all said
Electricians,
yes.
electricians are not that expensive. Many of them will do a quick service call to fix any issues you've got.
Or almost every single inspection report has a GFI that needs to be fixed, which is that button right in the middle of a receptacle. So just get your GFI fixed, get your GFI game on, and get those small little things rectified so you can keep. You can keep dad.
Get your electrician to take that double tap out and then get it out of the inspection. Right?
Those double taps. Crazy.
If you don't know what a double tap is, DM me and I'll explain it to you. Because this is rapid fire. We don't have time for that here.
And I'm saying your electrician's going to be there swapping out your light fixtures anyways.
Yeah.
So let's just get to work. All right. This is also a easy rapid fire. Apply a fresh coat of paint and or do accent walls. Guys, viewers, this is like a thumbs up on crack over here.
This
is
a lot of thumbs up actions going on.
Yeah.
Your investment there is well worthwhile.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the last one.
All right.
Improving curb appeal with landscaping.
I'm for it, but I think cheap and cheerful.
Me too. So I'm a maybe. I love
cheap
it.
And cheerful.
But yeah, it has to be cheap and cheerful.
Specific to the property.
Landscaping is like a blank, I was about to say check, so I'm going to say a blank line of credit waiting to be spent, because it's just, you can go down a very deep rabbit hole, but definitely cleaning things up and putting your best foot forward. If you can do it at a reasonable price, do it.
Yeah. Time of year, get rid of the leaves, get rid of the snow. Right. If you've got snow, you don't really have to worry about the landscaping as much. But cut that grass, right? Trim the tree back.
Make sure the snow is shoveled. Ian is my listing hero for going out and shoveling clients' snow during snowstorms and before open houses. Like, that makes a huge difference. And other than your back, it really doesn't cost too much.
Yep. Shovel out my own place and then go to my listings and shovel those out too for the buyers that are coming with their agents. So they can freely get to the front door without hassle, without wet pants and shoes.
Yeah. And you get a workout done.
Yeah.
And you get a workout in. Absolutely.
So there. Just to close off rapid fire, I have a closing question for you. If you were working with a seller that had a limited budget, let's say between $5,000 and $10,000 to prepare their home for sale, what would be your advice? And where would you steer your selling client in terms of what to spend on to prep the home? So I'd love to start, if that's okay. So I really strongly feel that the number one place for them to spend their time and resources is on decluttering, packing, organizing, and storage solutions. That's huge. So that's an investment, heart and soul, not necessarily financial. Painting your home top to bottom with a fresh coat of paint, preferably white or something very neutral. And that will help with like some of the other stuff too. Like it's the smell, for example, and that first impression and the atmosphere and the entryway. Like that covers off a lot of our other topics with a fresh coat of paint. And then I would also recommend working with a broker or broker team that offers staging and styling services as part of their commission package. I cannot think of a better ROI in terms of this particular partnership and those services they may or may not offer. You 100% want to explore your options with this. This is going to give you a massive bang for your buck and a huge return on your sale, and you will net a higher amount at the end of the day. So those are my top tips with working with sellers with limited budgets. Ralph?
Awesome. All of yours were actually really good.
I know. That's why I wanted to go first.
She didn't leave us anything. She didn't leave us anything.
You didn't leave me too much. But Easy wins are backsplashes, not very expensive. Really change the whole look and feel or modernize a kitchen very, very quickly. In conjunction with backsplashes, I'm going to say tiles and grout. That is such a thing. Like when you go into a bathroom and you're like, you see like mold and you're like, oh, how would I ever shower here? That's disgusting. I never put my bare foot down there. That could break a sale right there.
Yes.
It really, really could. So anything to do with grout or tiles, I'd really be looking at doing. And generally, they're not too expensive. And I'll go back to hardware, and Shane Fox Hardware as well is little plug Shane if you're watching. But having that little way to spruce up the kitchen, not very expensive, can take really, really old boxes and modernize them. And then if you can paint them, if you're already painting your home as well, if you can paint, as Kori was saying, really, really nice bottoms, jazzed up with really nice hardware, with a great backsplash. You've redone a kitchen. I've seen so many studies that show the best way to add value or the best ROI you can get is on your kitchen. And when I say ROI you can get, I'm not talking just about real estate. I'm talking about in the entire scope of the investment world, Bitcoin included. If you can upgrade that kitchen and do it in a leveraged, intelligent way, you can do really well.
I like the fact that you said jazzed up. That was my favorite part of that.
He didn't do the jazz hands though at the same time.
Jazz it up.
Jazz it up.
I
know. Zhuzh, I get. Jazzed.
That might hold a little weight with the panel here.
Ian, would you like to add anything in terms of sellers working on a limited budget, prepping their home for sale?
Yeah, I was making a quick list here. I'm going to do my own rapid fire round here. And this is doubling down on some of the things. First up, I would say do your pre-list inspection. Give yourself some time with that to contemplate what you can do, who you can book. So get a pre-list inspection done a couple of weeks ahead. Fix things, store your stuff, clean, like pay for storage. Get it out of the way. Don't put it in the garage because I'm going to go look at the garage too. Go store it on like some other site. Clean everything, including the windows. Get the windows professionally cleaned. That helps. Paint, obviously, paint anything that needs painting. Lighting, which we already talked about, right? Invest in some good lighting. And outdoor prep, right? Find depending on the time of year, of course, but find somebody who can do that little bit of landscape zhuzhing for you, right? And don't do that part yourself. If you've got the budget for it, find somebody who can come in and give you some mulch, flowers, little trees and shrubs. Set aside a little money for that too.
Yep. I love those ideas. These are huge.
Yeah, I'm so sad I never thought about mulch. I was talking about landscaping earlier. Mulch is it's the greatest, cheapest way of covering up or fixing up the outside appearance of your home.
And black mulch looks so good compared to red mulch.
Yeah.
It's harder to find the black mulch, but it looks so good.
And it changes colors, but that's something for the new buyer to worry about.
It eventually turns gray, but when you're selling it, it looks really nice.
Yeah.
I love that black mulch.
It really pops in photos too.
It looks
exterior of your house.
Good.
Yeah.
Who knew we were black mulch fans, but we are. There you go. That's your major takeaway, viewers. Black mulch. All right,
Very
Ian,
nice.
would you like to close us out?
Yeah, we've taken quite a journey today through the avenues of property value improvement, exploring the finer points of how you make your home shine brighter in Toronto's bustling property market. From making those vital repairs and improvements to sprucing up your curb appeal or capitalizing on the energy efficient trend, we've looked at some of the top strategies that can truly help your property stand out and command the highest price it deserves. That's a wrap for today's episode. Stay tuned for our next discussion where we continue to unpack hot topics in today's Toronto real estate market. Till then, keep investing, enhancing, and transforming spaces into homes. Kori, what should people do?
They should contact us. We're nice.
We are nice. Ralph, what should people do right now before they contact us?
Well, I think the most important thing is to smash that subscribe button down below. And if you like what you're hearing or seeing, click on the like.
I love it.
Yeah. Send us your thoughts and comments, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.